Are you with me that Demetrious Johnson is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world? Is there? Do you
Yeah,
think
I
there's
think
a debate?
so. I think though sometimes after like a really impressive performance like this, I think I already probably would have went with him before, but the John Jones thing is the only thing. But John Jones isn't is, John Jones could fulfill the potential that he has, but it's kind of looking more and more unlikely. And we it's hard to know. Like John Jones is kind of cage. He could have been rusty in against OSP, or he couldn't. Maybe he's not improving at the rate that Demetrious Johnson is. So there's kind of an unknown there with John Jones. But this the easy pick for it is Demetrious Johnson.
Like, I think when people are talking about the pound for pound list, they look too much even at records. I think when I think about pound for pound, I think who is the best
Yeah.
fighter.
But we haven't seen John Jones get like German suplexed around by a guy heavier than him, like we have Demetrious Johnson. I know that was a few years ago now, but Dominic Cruz was like dominated him in the grappling, like, and was suplexing him around and just like won the fight clearly, I thought. So the fact that like Jones, okay, his loss to Matt Hamill is just the ref being an idiot. That doesn't really count, like, to be honest. So John Jones is pretty much undefeated, and we've never seen him kind of dominated in any facet of the game.
Yeah, but like the thing about pound for pound and this whole debate is it's you fighting at your weight versus everyone else fighting at their weight. Like, I don't think there's any debate that Demetrious Johnson was too small for 135. That's not his weight. And like 10 pounds mightn't seem much, but when you're that small, it is. That's a huge amount of that. Like Demetrious Johnson, he said in the lead up to this fight, he could fight at 105 pounds. Or sorry, 115 pounds. That's, he's not a big guy. Dominic Cruz has fought at 145 pounds. He is a big 135er. He is way, way bigger than Demetrious Johnson. Like, that wasn't a fair fight. That's why I've said all along, I don't want to see him fighting again unless it's, Demetrious Johnson getting a lot of money. Then I can understand it. But like, that's a man getting beaten by someone that big. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, if Conor McGregor went out and he fought Yoel Romero and got beaten, like, would you? Would you say he's not one of the best fighters in the world because he lost to someone way bigger than him? Or
But that'd be a lot bigger of a difference though than.
yeah, but they're bigger guys. I know what you mean. Like, but say Tyron Woodley or something. Okay, like one weight above where he's champion now.
Well,
Like,
Tyron's probably walking around at 200 pounds, is he?
yeah, but
He's a
like
pretty big
still,
guy.
like what's Dominic Cruz walking around at? He's like cutting down to 135. He's probably walking around at least 150. Like, what?
150.
Demetrious Johnson walks around at like 130, 135. He's a way, way bigger than him for that size, I think. But like, that's kind of getting off the point. I think.
Yeah, it kind of people have different kind of interpretations of what pound for pound is and what it means, and it's like a kind of made up thing. So there's no like real definition for what it is. So I think the debate, people kind of debate the pound for pound list, but they're kind of using different parameters, so they're never going to agree.
Like, it's fair enough. Like, if you want to make the argument, John Jones has beaten better people, of course he has. He's definitely beaten better people than Demetrious Johnson, than a lot of people. But like, if you just look at the skills, like Demetrious Johnson can only be what's in front of him as well. Say if Ovan St. Preux, if John Jones and Daniel Cormier and Anthony Johnson and Gustafsson weren't there, and if he was beating everyone in front of him, like, he still wouldn't have the skill set that Demetrious Johnson has. It's the fact that Demetrious Johnson has that skill set and he's so much better than everyone else, makes it look like, oh, well, can he do it against someone else? We don't know that, but the fact remains that he has that skill set. Like, he has, like, look, if you look at him, people are talking about Daniel Cormier, which I think is just a farcical joke anyway. Like, I'd have Aldo, McGregor, and Johnson above Cormier at the moment. Like, Cormier is a very, very good fighter, but like, look at Cormier striking. If you're putting on a pound for pound list, it's just not that good. Like, let's be honest here about it. Like, his wrestling is unbelievable. His clinch game is unbelievable. Everything like that. Really, really good fighter. But if you're putting him up against Demetrious Johnson, like, look at Demetrious Johnson's clinch. Really, really good. Look at his ground game. His wrestling. Unbelievable. Look at his submissions. Like, how many people has Daniel Cormier submitted?
He hasn't got the tail game that DC has though.
Yeah. But if you just break them down like that, if people think, oh, Daniel Cormier is number one pound for pound, striking, no. Wrestling, okay, Daniel Cormier is probably a little bit better, but Demetrious Johnson's unbelievable wrestling. Clinch, I'd say Cormier is definitely better there. submissions on the ground, passing guard and everything like that, I'd say Demetrious Johnson is better. Like, I think Demetrious has like I think he's better than Conor McGregor. I think obviously McGregor's striking is unbelievable, and McGregor is one of those guys who brings a fight and does everything to get the fight there where he wants it to go to, and he can win there. As we saw with like Nate Diaz, and years ago I know with Justin Duffy and stuff. But if he gets taken out of that, then he can be beaten. Demetrious Johnson isn't like that. Demetrious Johnson.
So what about this? Do you think Cody Garbrandt could possibly make 125, or not? Could possibly? Do you think he could make 125?
And he says he could, but is he going down for Demetrious Johnson?
But if he does, if he can make it and he goes down, who would you pick in that fight?
I'd probably pick Demetrious, I think. But like the size is there again. Like Cody is a big guy as well, compared to Demetrious. Demetrious is tiny. Like he's like Wilson Hayes is way bigger than him last night.
So, is there anybody at heavyweight that you think could make 205 and possibly beat John Jones, or have a good chance of beating John Jones?
Could Kane make it? Stipe?
He couldn't make 205. They're like, I think they're 40 pounds over that.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's different as well. Like the smaller weights, there's a bigger difference between. Like look at boxing. Like you go up 2 and 3 pounds to go between weights. Like look at. I know they're talking about Kell Brook. Like he went up to fight Triple G, and I think what did he went up? I think like he used to be 140. Now he's fighting 147, or at least he's going to be soon. And then I think he went up to like 155. And he was massive. It was like a Goliath in front of him. And like, what's that? 147, like 8 pounds up in weight. And that's even higher than him. Like, I think we have like a distorted view sometimes in MMA of it's only 10 pounds, or the difference between say welterweight and middleweight or something like that. What's that? 15 pounds or stuff like. But once you get bigger, the weights are different. I think like the smaller weights, there's much more of a difference. Like Demetrious Johnson fought like. What was it? Probably 50%, 60% of his career at a higher weight than he should have. Like, look at the likes of Neil Seery, who fought like up as far. I think he fought up as far as lightweight. Was losing. It was like an 8-8 record or something, and then he gets a division of his own, and he wins like 6 out of 7 fights or something like that in a row. Like, it makes a huge difference, And like I can't stress that enough. Like, if you're holding the loss against Dominic Cruz against him from years ago, like that's unbelievable. He has 10 title fight wins in a row. That is unbelievable. It's not even that. Like, it's just his skill set. I can't get over. Like, how can you look at his skill set, look at his striking, look at his wrestling, look at his submissions and jiu-jitsu game, and not say he's the best in the world? Like, he's better than John Jones. If they were both the same weight, if you could magically get the skill set of Demetrious Johnson, his speed, his power, his submissions, his wrestling, everything onto a 205er and fought John Jones, who'd win?
But like John Jones would have a lot more speed if he was 125.
Yeah, he would. But like John Jones uses his size, I think, more than anything else. Demetrious Johnson doesn't have that ability. And if he was bigger, he'd be able to use that size as well. No,
he's slower if he was bigger as well, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
it's always it's such a made up thing that it's hard to nail it down. Like, people say, oh, he's clearly the best pound for pound, but it's not clear. Like, it's very murky. Very murky.
No, it's clear. Like, I think Jones is the only one close. I think Jones is the only one that can get near him. Like, McGregor's, I think, is definitely third for me. I think Aldo's there. Like, you can't hold an 11-second knockout against Aldo that much. Like, he just destroyed a strong enough division as well for years and years. Brief Frankie Edgar, who people talk about an awful lot. Chad Mendez.
How strong was that division though that he beat?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
You don't, so.
I don't think it's as strong as people like to make out.
Yeah,
there's some nice fights in there from Manny Gambarian and the boys. Like,
let's remember a thing about Cormier as well. He lost at light heavyweight. He lost at his own division.
Who?
Daniel Cormier.
Oh, Cormier. Sorry, I was.
So did Aldo, in fact.
Yeah.
So Cormier and Aldo both lost. McGregor has lost at welterweight.
Well, Daniel Cormier has actually never fought at his proper weight class. Middleweight.
What's that? Welterweight? No, 206.2.
206.2 champion of the world.
Yeah, but yeah, fuck what you think. Demetrious Johnson is pound for pound number one.
I
That's
don't
the
disagree, but there's a debate for John Jones as well. I think there's an argument
yeah.
there.
Well, I don't think there is, but he's the only one. Like he's the only one that there's it could be a debate for, not Daniel Cormier. Like I think a lot of people pick this up from Ariel as well, and Ariel said it. And look, I love Ariel. He's a great man, then. But we all have our wacky moments. I think I think that was one of his wacky moments. To be honest, I don't think Daniel Cormier. I think he'd probably admit that himself after the weekend. Maybe not, but I don't think so. Like he's a great fighter. Like I'm not taking anything away from Daniel Cormier. He's, as I said there, like top 4, top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world. There's nothing to sneeze at there. Like there's some like unbelievable fighters. We spoke about Cody Garbrandt. Like he's blowing Stipe, Joanna Jacek, Dominic Cruz. Just looking at the list here: Tyron Woodley, Bisping, Nunes, Holloway. Like all great fighters, and I think he is above them definitely. But for me, Demetrious Johnson is number 1.